More than 2 years ago, Gavin Newsom was elected governor of California in the biggest victory the state has seen in more than 50 years. So, why is there now a push to recall Newsom? Let's bring in former California Republican congressional candidate Joe Collins. He's back live and up late with me on the Final Five. Hey, Joe, good to see you.
Hey, you as well. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, good to see you again as we talk about this. So Gavin Newsom, elected, had, I believe, more than 7 million votes back in 2018 when he was elected governor. Now, just like Gray Davis, who was a Democratic governor who was elected by the people, and he was recalled, there's a push to recall Gavin Newsom. Why is this happening, and why do you support it?
Well, you know, when Gavin Newsom was first running for governor of California, he was a smooth-looking guy. You know, he looked like he had it together. But he gets elected, and all of a sudden, California is looking like a third world country. We have the highest homeless population. We have the highest poverty rates. Jobs are leaving. Small businesses are being absolutely crushed. That's why I'm on board with it. I'm about rebuilding the economy, helping out our small businesses, ensuring that, you know, we lower our poverty rates and actually deal with our homeless issues.
Was this something? I mean, clearly we know there's a homeless problem across the country right now, and there are issues out there. How did this explode in the 2 years or so that he took office? What was the main driving factor?
Well, we always had a homelessness problem here in California, but the driving factor that caused it to explode was just a lack of leadership. You know, it's the talk. They sound good. They tell us everything that we want to hear, but at the end of the day, they have yet to put anything in action to increase the economy, lower the cost of living, or even bring quality jobs back to our states, along with, you know, California being a sanctuary state. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So the organizers say that they have the signatures. I think it's about 1.5 million signatures. And there are some people that say, well, look, I mean, considering, again, he got 7 million. John Cox, who's the Republican, got 4 million votes. You only needed 1.5 million votes to force a recall vote. Is that, some people are saying that floor is too low?
Well, we have the 1.5 million signatures that we need in order to recall Gavin Newsom, but we have to push it until March 17th. I know myself, with our recall road trip going up and down the state of California, we're stopping on March 7th. That way we can make sure everyone has their paperwork turned in. We want to push for 2 million signatures. We know Democrats in California are going to play games and try to kick a lot of signatures back in order to keep him in. Mm-hmm. The most disgusting thing is Joe Biden even came out a few days ago to support Gavin Newsom and to condemn our recall. And you know, we don't support Joe Biden anyway.
Well, Joe, when you look at the state of California supports Joe Biden.
Yeah, and Joe Biden needs to move to the state of California and live out here with their average people. You know, he's a millionaire elitist politician who's been in office for well over 50 years. I don't think his opinion applies to the average everyday Joe.
Well, when you talk about millionaire, though, I mean, Donald Trump was far more richer than Joe Biden. So why is being a millionaire a bad thing?
Well, being a millionaire is not a bad thing, but, you know, Donald Trump was a billionaire before he got into office. Joe Biden was a poor guy from, you know, the Northeast who became a millionaire while he was in politics. We've seen the deals that his son has been making. We've seen the extortion that he's been doing with other countries.
Talk to me about the last time we saw a recall vote was 2003. Gray Davis, I believe the driving factor were the power outages. There were such huge power outages. California couldn't get its power grid straight. They kicked Gray Davis out of office. They brought in Arnold Schwarzenegger. I believe if you look at the ballot from the recall in 2003, there were like, I know Gary Coleman, the late Gary Coleman was on the list. There were porn stars on the list. There were serious candidates on that list. There was no doubt about it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, that was the marquee guy, though. Who would be your Arnold Schwarzenegger in a recall election in 2003 or in 2021?
I think that I'll be my own Arnold Schwarzenegger in a recall election. I don't have a lot of confidence.
Are you announcing?
In the candidates that are running right. I'm not necessarily announcing, but I just don't have faith in any of the candidates that are running right now. You know, if I was to run for governor, I would have to put together a solid plan and talk to the California GOP to find out what type of candidate that they're looking for. And then we'll have to see if it's possible that as a Republican, we can reach across the aisles to the Democrats and the independents and find out what they want and be that candidate for the people and not just for the party.
And I think that's a good point. I think that that's something that is worth mentioning because, it is a hyper-political climate we're in, and some people are like, hey, I'm just going to run for one side, I'm going to run for the other. I think regardless of who, considering how diverse of a state California is, and look, everybody thinks California is this liberal paradise, but when you look outside of Southern California and outside of San Francisco, I mean, you have several Republican congressmen representing the state. I know you try to be one of them, but as we look at that, the big issue. Do you have any idea if you have the signatures when this vote would take place, or is that all still yet to be determined?
I think that's to be determined. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch.
Sure.
I want them to count the signatures and make sure
Right.
that we have the allotted amount of signatures in order to remove Gavin Newsom.
All right. And I know the one thing before I let you go, Joe, there's an image that I think works against Gavin Newsom. And there was an image of him when these dining restrictions were in place across the state. He was there at a place in Napa called, I believe, the French Laundry, which really got a lot of play. And I think regardless of where you stand, when you see the idea of politicians instituting rules but then flouting them, that doesn't always ring true.
Yeah, well, the hypocrisy that we've been seeing from the left, it spreads across the United States, And we are focused on the 43rd congressional district. We did restart our campaign to run again for Congress. I think my campaign did a very good job. We only have 37,000 Republicans in my district, and we were able to get 80,000 votes. I think if we take that same strategy and apply it to a gubernatorial candidacy, then I think that we could actually we could win this. But again, I will have to collaborate with the California GOP.
That is Joe Collins. Hey, Joe, good to see you again. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Final Five back after this.